welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy, howdy.
As you can tell, I managed to find time to trim the front end off that video.
Yeah, it was shorter than I was expecting. It had me caught me off guard.
I think I might have been picking my nose when it ended, and I would like to apologize to everyone for the image that we opened the stream with.
It happens.
Someone make that into a meme for us.
I will say,
yeah.
I will say that the call to papers is open, and I'm going to go find the link and drop it in here.
I have written out my talk description. I have not submitted it yet, but I will.
I have not submitted either. I'm still trying to figure out what's different from everything else I've done so far. That's always a good challenge.
We have 4 Americans on the show, and they all should be submitting.
I have 2 different ideas, and I can't decide which one I want to do.
Submit them both.
That's a tough position.
I already have an obligation, so I'm not going this year.
I know. I'm trying to figure out
what?
how to make it.
I know.
I'm actually in Orlando like 2 weeks before that, and now I may have to be in Columbus that week, so I got to figure out.
Oh, Columbus of all places.
Columbus
well,
is lame. I used to
and in
live
the
there.
gym for volleyball for 4 days, so yeah.
Okay.
I could be in Orlando for FlutterCon with all my friends. Instead, I'm going to be in South Dakota.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, South Dakota of all places.
I know.
Why South Dakota?
Photography.
Because it's not.
But there's a reason for it.
Ohio.
I'm going to look forward to it. It sounds better when I don't explain why South Dakota.
Well,
Yeah.
let's jump straight into the show.
Yeah.
Sure. We kind of did.
My name's
People,
Simon Lightfoot.
Hey.
Hey.
What? I'm on. Oh
wait,
my gosh.
we'll get to you. We'll get to you. We'll get to you. Hold on. We'll get to you.
Okay. My bad.
CTO Dev Angels London, and you can find me on Twitter and other locations at Dev Angels London.
Randall Schwartz. I am a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert, one of 10 in the U.S. I think it is 13 in North America. And what that means is I spend a lot of time answering people's questions online and also helping them out and giving presentations at various conferences and GDG meetups. If you want to bring me in, let me know because I'm easy to contact. But for this show, I have a particular role in that I am the question magician, which means I am watching the chat, the live chat that we have. And if you put something in there with Q: and a question, it will be a question to us, the panel, and I will mark those and take them in the order they're received. If you give me the same question again 20 minutes later, you lost 20 minutes in line. So don't do that. Only ask once. We note every question that we can see. Now, we don't see anything if you put a URL in it. So don't put a URL in your question, just the question. We'll figure it out after that. Oh, we've actually something coming up about that in a minute. That's plenty. Danielle.
Sure. I'm Danielle Cox. I'm the Flutter tech lead for a startup called Ardly, and I'm also one of the organizers of the Flutteristas. I see Kaylee was already in the audience. I haven't been keeping up with anybody else. Steph's off usually there too. So, but we're the Flutteristas. It's a fun organization. Let us know if you're female or non-binary and want to join a fun group of Flutter-loving people. Matthew. Or, I'm sorry, John. Sorry, not Matt.
It's all right.
John.
Too anxious.
Yeah, so I'm John Weezy. I manage the Flutter community Medium, and I also have a business, Hill Valley Studios, working on some apps in Flutter, and spend time answering questions in different places like Randall. And I will call out the fact that you'll note that none of our titles say Google, so none of us work for Google.
Right.
In case we come off as sounding like we do, we don't. None of us have any inside information.
I never do. It doesn't matter.
Matthew.
And Matthew.
Everyone, yeah, I can't believe I'm on the slide. This is like,
yay!
I feel like I've crossed a threshold. Oh my gosh, This is amazing. Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm a senior innovation engineer for a large bank, but mainly, it doesn't look like it, but my main passion is my YouTube channel. You can find me on Makerinator on YouTube, as well as on Blue Sky and a couple of other social media sites. And someday I will post another YouTube video. My circuit board is currently sitting in New Jersey, so maybe it'll arrive soon. So, but yeah, that is me.
So
see, now that you're on the slide,
your fortune, you're going to do another video.
What'd you say, Danielle?
I was thinking like fortune telling, like it's
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
telling.
Fortune telling is the hint for what the next video is about. All the electronics are working. Circuit board's coming in. I'm hoping to get it populated over the weekend if it arrives, and then from there it's just fabricating the case for this thing, and I can make a video. So maybe sometime in April.
Does that mean you get another chief fabricator?
oh,
Chief
yeah.
Yeah, a fabricatinator. Yeah, there we go.
And now,
I love it.
now that Matt's on the opening slide, that means every time you're not here, we get to say, and Matt couldn't be with us this week again. So now it's obligation of being here because you're going to get that couldn't be here this week again. Yeah,
You can all you complain about Matthew's letting us down. Yep. No, I'm with you, Randall. Definitely do it. I appreciate
Exactly.
peer pressure.
It commits
Bring
you.
it.
It commits you.
Commits
Yes.
you.
When I haven't
Yep.
been here lately, Kaylee's been nice enough to join in.
Yeah.
But I've told her she doesn't have to wait until I'm gone to come on.
Good point. Good point.
Yep.
Yes, we could always use more friendly faces here on the thing. Oh yes, the hash code thing.
Yeah. So as was
Usually-
said earlier, if you
Yes.
if you want to post a link or some code or something for us to review, then the best way to do that is to go to gist.new or GitHub Gist and pop in a title description and make sure you name the file .dot so we get that lovely syntax highlighting, pop in your code or your comments and questions and whatever else, and then create your gist, and then you grab the hash from the URL. That's the hexadecimal long string in the URL after you press post and in 0.6, and pop that into a message, into your Q : question message, and then we can then bring that up and talk about it. Right, that's enough of the introductions. Back to
Yeah.
So not Flutter related, but open source related. So tangential. FreeCAD 1.1 just got released. So I'm going to make another stab at learning FreeCAD. Excited about that. That's probably the biggest open source news I would say in a minute. And yeah.
So sorry, you're gonna say it again. You're gonna give it a go. Well, KiCad.
FreeCAD. So KiCad I do use. KiCad is what I do for circuit board design. FreeCAD is like a standard CAD program. It's an alternative to like Fusion or SolidWorks or something like that.
Yeah.
So it has a reputation for being obtuse to learn, which is well deserved.
And let's be honest,
But-
that's the same as a lot of big software packages or even open source packages, especially big open source packages.
Yeah.
So,
But the 1.0 release made things a lot better, and the 1.1 release is supposed to be even better than that. So that's what I'm going to be digging into. It's released at the exact same time as I was like, I need to start CADing stuff up for a case. And so I was like, well, this is the universe telling me it's time to learn FreeCAD, I guess. So
Nice.
I mean, it is. I actually learned AutoCAD in school. That was a thing that we did.
Wow.
But it is one of those things where it's really good to learn how to use fabric. I have to say, there's something freeing. I mean, freeing about like doing electronics and doing fabrication, right? In the whole maker scene, right? Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to go buy something off the shelf. But let's say you want it, but not quite that, or you want something slightly different for your particular use case or whatever it is that you're doing. You need it just this way, and no one else has done that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You
Yeah.
had to have luck in the olden days, right? Like, that was it. You had to get someone to make it, or it's not going to happen, right? Let's be honest. The way that you'd obviously, do that now is that you can literally, you've got 3D printers, you've got, you've got ECAD, you've got like PCBWay and all these other companies that you just send them your Gerber files and back comes the PCB, and then you've also got the fact that, learning, actually having that kind of notion of designing this thing in the computer, and then even if you cut it out of wood or whatever else, like making something physical, and like that is something that I've made that suits exactly what I needed to. That's quite powerful. A bit like the big F sign behind John there on the wall. That's
yes.
Yeah.
that's custom made. The only one in the world.
It is right now. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that instructables.
Yep.
I don't
Cool.
want to poop on anyone's fun, but I feel like so many people buy 3D printers, and then what they do is they never go any further than going on and downloading other people's models and printing them.
What was it?
And to me,
Yeah,
Thingiverse,
yeah.
MakerWorld,
there's
Printables,
a
those
bunch.
places.
Yeah.
And for me, the real joy of 3D printing came when I learned how to 3D model. Right now I'm using Fusion and Onshape. Both of those are stupid expensive. They have free versions, but you hit those limits, or at least I'm starting to hit those limits. But the real joy is learning how to think something into existence. It's the reason I learned to code. Like, I was a teenager and I was like, I want to make stuff, and I didn't have a shop to work in. And so coding was a natural thing. I could just create something. So it's that desire to create, I guess. But yeah. Someday I'm hoping John will write up some plans for the Flutter sign, and then I will make one of my own and hang it somewhere in my studio.
I have a better idea for you. Why don't you join forces and you can CAD one for him?
There we go.
There's your good learning lesson right there. You can
you could.
Ooh.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. So that one's made out of wood, and then it has LEDs behind it. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely do something. Right? Yeah.
Actually,
woodworkers frequently use CAD.
I do. Yeah. SketchUp is a big one in woodworking, and although after they got bought or whatever, it's a little bit trickier to do now because it's only free on the web if you use the web version, but which is not as easy. Doesn't have as many features, but.
So is SketchUp still your primary CAD software that you use, or do you have something else that you like better for woodworking?
When I'm doing the wood stuff, I use it just because I know it. I've looked at FreeCAD, like you mentioned it, early on, but I hadn't looked at it recently, so I might take another look.
Cool.
Hey Matt, why Fusion? Why Fusion and not something like Blender?
So actually, this is a really good question. So the reason I do Fusion instead of Blender is, think of it as the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator. So it's like the difference between a bitmap or a vector. So you can design stuff for 3D printing in Blender, but you are dealing with individual polygons, and you're in the same way that you would with pixels. Whereas when you use something like Fusion or FreeCAD, you are setting parameters, so it's parametric software, and so it's much more like working with a vector, and so it is significantly easier to deal with the files. You can have a level of precision that's a lot harder in something like Blender, and they're really two different tools for two different purposes. So if you're trying to be artistic, 100%, something like Blender, that's your jam, or ZBrush or something like that, because you're trying to sculpt and you're trying to think from a different side of your brain. But if you're trying to engineer and say, I need an M5 bolt to fit inside this hole, you want to use something like an actual CAD program.
I don't know if Blender actually does things like real life measurements in there, like if you can scale things to a real life system.
You can do it. It's a pain in the butt. I've watched people do it, and I'm like, you are going so far around your elbow to get to your butt. You should just use a regular CAD program.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time I found when I was doing CAD stuff, it was very much like just trying to extrude from certain surfaces. You're trying to do things like that. Whereas, I can only assume that taking a two-dimensional plane and extruding it is actually probably more complicated in something like Blender than it is in a CAD software.
For sure.
Yeah, the reason I triggered on that is that you mentioned Fusion, and I'm trying to master DaVinci Resolve, including Fusion, and
two different fusions.
Two different fusions. Yeah.
What? Those aren't the same application?
No. Okay, so Fusion and DaVinci Resolve is for special effects. It's like the version of Adobe After Effects. It's where you create motion graphics and do a lot of fun stuff. Yeah. The Fusion I'm talking about is through Autodesk. It was formerly known as Fusion 360, but it's two different fusions.
It's their product that replaces AutoCAD.
Yep.
We need more nouns in English.
This is the problem of programming, right?
All the time.
and right now I'm working on an assortment cart, I guess, basically call it maybe a case, something like that. That's that I'm building that to organize stuff in my garage, all the screws and the bolts and I make pins sometimes, and so like all the pin blanks and the pin kits and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm doing on that is actually a combination. So I'm using woodworking to build the case and the drawers, and then like all of the stuff inside is 3D printed, and even like the door handle or drawer handle to pull out is 3D printed. And the jigs.
I would love to see that. Are you doing Gridfinity or like what are you using?
I'm using Alex Chappelle's setup, which was a little bit before Gridfinity, but yeah, it's very much like Gridfinity for that. But he's got plans for the whole thing, like I said, including like the door handle and with a printed label on top of it, stuff like that.
So believe it or not, this is not a 3D printing show or a maker show.
We have a question. We have a question.
We have a question, and it is.
Yeah, Randall already answered it, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. We could forever.
This could be talked about for a long time. Yeah.
This could be a topic
this
for
is
the
the
next
state
20 minutes
management
if
question.
you want.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, which state management? That's summarize that TLDR as which state management. Riverpod is fine.
Signals.
I recommended it for many years. I now think I have an attraction, at least for beginners, to learn signals because it's a lot easier to learn, and it can get you to 90% of what you would have done with Riverpod in like 5 steps. 15 minutes or a good long afternoon, one or the other. And so signals, definitely look into signals as
Sounds
well.
Like there might be some good ideas for talks.
It doesn't matter if it's web dev or not, right? Like at the end of the day, it's state management is state management, right? I think it would matter more to say, are you building a web app, website? Are you using Jasper? Are you not using Jasper? These are things that can sort of help you choose maybe a different path, right?
Yep.
So, signals. Unless you're an enterprise, then look at Block, and you've got like 100 developers working on it. But so I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I did come up with a little game that we could play amongst ourselves, and maybe chat could.
Is it Signal or is it a block?
Signal or Block? Okay, that's next week. That's no. I don't know if you're familiar with a game called Would You Rather, but through a collaboration of Gemini, Claude, and myself, I came up with a Flutter and software development version of it. So I will ask a Would You Rather question, and I want to see how you guys respond. You want to try? You want to play? You can respond in chat.
Yeah, we can try. Yeah.
We have no questions.
Back to this 1,000 line class, or do this other.
Very close. Yes, you're on the right track. Simon.
Hide all that code behind an interface.
All
right.
All right. So, first question: would you rather have null safety removed from Dart, or have build context passed as a parameter to every single function in your app?
Ew.
I want my null safety.
I can ignore build.
I could not deal with that build an extra parameter like.
Yeah, to like every class. Ooh.
Why would it be for multiple
I'll be honest with you, we need without null safety for a very long time.
Yeah. I could do without the null safety more than having to put up with build context.
I guess I'm the contrary. I like my null safety.
I don't like either.
I also like my null safety. I think
I'm going to Kobayashi Maru it and just say no, neither of those.
You can't. You have to pick one. That's the rule. You can't say neither. That's how Would You Rather work. You have to pick one.
Who's higher and lower on that org chart that we have? And even right now, look at this.
Okay. I get that you're higher on the org chart, but Simon says that it's the rules of the game. So Simon trumps us all. Just going to throw that out there. Simon trumps us all.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Do you have another one?
Okay, let me ask a better one. Would you rather have to use set state for every single state management need in a massive enterprise app, or be forced to use a different state management library for every single screen in the same app.
Set state.
Set state.
Set state.
Yeah.
Anything that has to be every time, you can get around or even write some macros or something that'll take care of it.
You just wrap a nice little interface around set state, and you've got every state management ever made.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are not wrong. All right, let me find another one here. I have like 2 pages of these, right? So
Oh, boy.
like, we have to go through them all. I'm like cherry picking.
People, we need questions. We need questions. Please ask us questions.
Yeah, save us from Matthew.
Otherwise, you get
So
right.
there's a comment.
You let him on the slide and see what happens.
So while Matthew's pulling up the next one, Danielle, I don't know if you saw, there's a comment. Somebody likes your background. I don't know if they don't realize that it's real.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, they're actually, yeah.
Would you rather every bug you introduce be only fixable by doing 10 push-ups, or every bug fixes itself but leaves a passive-aggressive comment in the code explaining what you did wrong?
I ignore comments. Not gonna make
I have to lose weight, so I'll take the push-ups this time.
Yeah, I was thinking I might take the push-ups. I don't know.
I can't do push-ups. My left wrist won't bend far enough back anymore.
We'll just do one-handed.
No, oh God, no, not with girth like this. You don't do that one head.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't mind.
Would you rather have?
On that?
What'd you say, Simon?
I was gonna say I wouldn't mind it either, but I'd probably go for the push-ups because you get more out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
right.
And that way you might learn.
But people start judging your abilities as a programmer based on how swole you are. Like, oh God, that guy's ripped. His code must be garbage.
Well, or you look at it as a punishment, right? So it's like I gotta make sure I don't have any bugs, so I don't have to do push-ups. Yeah.
Oh God, it's like that meme.
Does this mean the better the program you get, the more fatter you get?
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like in interviews, they're like, okay, I need you to stand up. We're gonna like look at your waist size, and if you're smaller than 42, we're not hiring it. Must have a 42-inch waist or greater.
What parallel universe did we just go into? When I sized T-shirts for conferences, and I used to give away free T-shirts every year at OSCON booth, for example. We made sure we went up to 3XL because we had to.
Yeah.
What are you saying? I wear 3XL there, Randall. Okay. Would you rather have Dash follow you around in real life and judge your indentation, or be legally required to wear a full-body plush Dash suit to every professional meeting?
Ooh, Dash can follow me around.
The suit sounds kind of fun. It'd remove any kind of theory I have to make about what I have to wear for that meeting. That'd be nice.
What was the first option?
Dash follows you around.
Dash follows you around, comments, I'm going to say passive-aggressively on your code in general, like not just your indentation. Dash follows you around and passive-aggressively comments on your code, or you have to wear a plush Dash suit to every professional
I'd say the first option, because you know what? You make better code soon. So,
yeah. Steph's confused. We have Steph all confused. She doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yep.
Dash judges your push-ups. All right, I got one more and then we can be done. Would you rather work on a code base where every variable is named after a type of cheese, or a code base where there are 0 comments and all the functions are named do thing 1, do thing 2, etc.?
Oh, you just heard about my last 2 projects. I've done both of those. Do something one with Camembert. Do something 2 with cheddar.
No, I think it was everything has to be named after cheeses in one, or everything's like obnoxiously named on the other one.
Right. So like function names that don't mean anything, or every variable name is named after cheese. So you have to choose like
also doesn't mean
to be honest,
which one is worse.
They both sound pretty equal to me. They're both about as bad as each other. They're both one means nothing, so you might as well name it a cheese, right? Like
now and if you have to name them after cheeses, that's going to limit how many you can do. So that might be a good thing or a bad thing. But...
Oh no. We can come up with many different variations. We're programmers. We can vary words like there's no tomorrow.
I don't know. I think I'd probably take the
words,
function
words.
names.
The serious thing I would say about that is I would much rather have a function name that meant nothing relative to the function than have one that's misnamed and you look at the name and it doesn't do what it says.
No.
Yeah. So that's that.
Okay. So I actually had that, Danielle. At a previous job, I lost 2 days of my life because there were two functions. One was named Push It, and the second was named Push It Real Good. And I was trying to figure out what these things did.
Were your coworkers named Salt and Pepper?
No, but like that was the joke. And I'm like, I spent 2 days because these weren't like little like tidy functions. These were like God functions that just went on and on and on for hundreds of lines and like, you know, things like 200 lines wrapped in a single if statement type of crap, right? And so like I'm like trying to figure out what they did. At the end, they pushed nothing. I don't even remember what they did at this point, but I promise you nothing was pushed.
What you
and
know
like,
is when you removed them, it all broke.
Right. Yes.
This sounds like something that belongs in the dailywtf.com.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Clearly. Anyway, we do have two meta questions if we want to take those. This is for me. I don't hate comments. I just don't always read them. I think that's what I was getting at. So I'm just be ignoring the things that were there.
That is kind of
Steph might have missed the question. I think.
What
was the question that you asked us, Matthew? It was something about
it was
passive
aggressive comments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's a sort of meta question, but we can actually discuss it.
Back me up real quick. Hating comments would be removing them all.
It's true.
Right. Yeah. I'd have a filter.
Ignoring them is very much more blasé. Hating them would be like removing them.
I have a VS Code extension that removes all comments. Yes.
I actually like legitimately like this is something that I think is worth talking about because I write very few comments. And the reason that I write very few comments is I feel like if your code is good enough and well written, your comments should be unnecessary. Like the only time I leave a comment is not explaining what something is doing, but why something is doing it. You know, it's like every once in a while, it's like, okay, I recognize you're going to look at this and be like, WTF is this guy doing? Right. Yeah. I'm going to leave a comment explaining what's going on in my messed up brain. Right. But like at the same time, if you're leaving a comment about what the code does, maybe you should just write the code better.
I can say the other side of this is definitely that, yeah. But also don't write comments that just literally, like for example, like push it as a function name, right? Yeah. Let's just say that's what the function is called, whatever. And the comment is this pushes it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, right. It does.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Or getter, this return like it gets a return length, and it says this returns the length. It's like returns length. It's like great, but why is it returning? What is it returning the length of? Like, give me.
I've seen A++ semi or pound sign increments A.
Yeah. Well. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example I've seen all over the place is when you have like a nullable parameter in the Dart doc says optional.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we know it's optional because it's nullable.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I knew it was optional when I saw the question mark. Yes.
Exactly,
yeah. I'm with you. Like, and that is actually my number one beef of AI code. To be completely honest, guys. Is like it over comments everything.
So much.
And I'm like, turn it down a bit. Oh my God. So I'm with you, Randall. I'm also a commentator.
From somewhere.
Or right the comments that were very temporal. You know, they had to do with the fact that I'm adding this right now. You know, this I don't think I've seen this one, but along the lines of this is where I added it. You know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Where it's like you know, where after this PR is done, that comment means literally nothing.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
I wish I could remember a better example right now, but that's the kind of stuff that also I see a lot is you know.
In case you're playing along at home, we're waiting for more questions. We do have this one meta question that might be useful to discuss just for a bit. Flutter team has to put to an end. Yeah, good luck with this. There's statements, state management. In other words, choose a state management. Everybody wants the home team in Mountain View to pick a state management system and just say that's the one. But I actually appreciate the way this has actually evolved over the years, because what the Flutter core team did is they gave us Mark Needs Build, and they said, build upon that, and we'll make sure the rest of the framework respects Mark Needs Build. And that's all we have to worry about. For those that don't know, that's the thing that set state ultimately calls to trigger the dirty widget, which then will be rebuilt on the next plan. But all the other systems are effectively the community picking the best of breed, and they're best for different reasons too. So I know people that swear by block and won't do anything without it's not block. And I sort of resist block. I sort of, if I'm forced into it, I'll do it. Where I'm looking, and for a couple of years, very strong advocate of RiverPod because it was the better provider. And now I'm all about signals. And so if the core team had locked into a state management system recommended across the board, we wouldn't have this variety of different ways of doing the same things.
Well, we probably would. Maybe not as many, but we probably would.
Yeah.
There'd still be people that would not like the way they did it and build something different.
Well, there aren't a lot of competitors.
To your point.
Yeah, go ahead.
To your point, Randall, like if someone would have made me God a year ago, first off, many things would be different. But if someone would have made me God a year ago, like I would have said, all right, RiverPod is the state management for Flutter. We're done. We are over this conversation. God has spoken. But then the likelihood of us having signals would be significantly less, right? And you know, like you don't want to lock down that innovation. Regarding the second part of this question, Flutter is dead. It's so funny because on LinkedIn, I saw a post, and it might have been from the actual Flutter account. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But it's like, what is something that you would say to every new Flutter dev? And I resisted because I almost wanted to sarcastically type in "learn React
Flutter's
Native."
Not dead.
But,
yes.
But then I'm like, someone is going to take me seriously, and I don't want to start this. But yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that, again, the state management stuff, like Randall was saying, there's different reasons for different things. So like Very Good Ventures, who has lots of people coming in, has to be able to hand off things very easily. They're huge block proponents, and I think that the separation that block gives you works very well for them. And I think a lot of people there would say that's not the best way to do it, but it's the best way for us to do it with the team that we are building and have.
Yes.
You know, and so I you know, there's lots of reasons when you go to pick things, and you know, it's like so many things in life. Even is, you know, there's very rarely this is strictly better than that. It's you have to prioritize and figure out, okay, well, if I get this much out of this and this much out of that, is that better than maybe flipping around just a little bit or whatever? And so, yeah, you know, and is there anybody that's heard me talk here? I'm not much for any of these packages. In most cases, I think we could do just fine or better without even that. So, but that said, I recognize the idea of having standards in a coding organization and doing things like that. And sometimes actually I've got this book right here. I'm reading with my CEO as part of our book club, The Overthinker's Guide to Making Decisions. And let's see. Yeah. So basically it's by Joseph Wynn. And it's basically pointing out the fact that, you know, a lot of these decisions aren't really going to make that big of a difference. So you're agonizing too much over them. You know, that you're going to write code and you're going to have a working app no matter which one of these you pick. Yep. You know, so you know.
Yeah, and if you just pick one and get started, you'll probably be done a lot faster than
exactly
the amount of time you're going to spend trying to make a decision.
The thing is, the point is, try something and refactor and change if you need to. Like you're always going to be doing that anyway. No product stays still,
Yep.
On my points on this, these systems have already been put to bed in my eyes, right? They have been for a very long time. So just on the Flutter is dead piece, apparently 30% of all free iOS apps that have been released each month is powered by Flutter/Google. And then apparently percentage of all new apps ever released each month, 15% are Flutter, and all cross-platform apps ever released each month is 50%. So, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's not dead, right?
Yeah.
The other side of this is something I want to bring up here, which is that the Flutter team themselves have had. Let's see if I can get this bigger for the. Have actually released these pages. So I'll pop these in the chat. But there's a whole section of state management now. What it's about, how it works. Like, it's not about like which state management. It's about what is state management, why is it important to Flutter, right? Like, this is understanding what it's all about and how you can do it with all the built-in features. Like, Flutter comes with all the built-in features to do all state management. You don't need to use a separate like library or anything, And then they do actually provide like a list of different options and videos and content that you can look through. There's state management packages, and it will link to all the different state management packages. Anyway, I'll pop that in the chat right now. That's one of state management. Also, the big thing about state management is it always gets confused with application architecture. And that's another big point that people think of how you architect the internal workers of your app to be state management. They're two separate things, but you kind of you may need to choose state management to architect your app, so that they often get like linked together in a certain way. But this also talks about those concepts as the whole section, which is worth reading about how you effectively put proper layers inside your app, how your layers communicate, and how they work with state management, and so on and so forth, right? Some really good content here inside of the Flutter docs. These are the things that that everyone should be reading up on, and not asking the question, which one should I use? It's a question of, how do I do it? Learn those approaches, right? That's my bet.
Cool. All right, we got another question a little further down here. Where is that? Wait a second. Go here. Is it this? No, that's from.
It is under a flag. Yes, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's from last week.
Was that last week?
My old list. Yeah,
but that's fine. Yeah. But it is under a flag, and it's quite important. You found it last week, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we talked about that last week. So that's right. Sorry, this is something that StreamYard has started to do. If we don't actually turn the marker off on a comment, it carries it over to the following week, which is just really weird. It just means we didn't do our paperwork last week.
Richard says that was definitely last week. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I wasn't here last week, so it can't be my fault.
I do want to cover that because it is quite important to test things out with the Swift Package Manager. It's going to come up quick. They're forcing everyone to use Swift Package Manager in, I think, within the next 6 months. I think it might be 3 months or something like that. So there's going to be a big, fast turnaround. I think probably the next, I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure like the next stable version of Flutter, or the one after that, is going to have Swift Package Manager in it. So there's a big push right now to get all the top quality plugins and packages on Pub to use Swift Package Manager, right? So at some point, Apple are going to say, this is how we do apps now, right? And at that point, you need to be using it. So worth trying out, seeing, your app, does it build with Swift Package Manager? What are the complications? What you need to do? Get that learning in now before it becomes, you need to do that before you can release on tomorrow. You don't want to be in that situation. So.
No. All right.
Pots can
burn. Next question. Let's say I'm building a 2D animation heavy game. Would you recommend using Flutter? Well, Rive, those guys, right? Since it takes care of the cross-platform aspect. Would it be compatible to release on Steam? I don't think so.
Yeah, you can release it on Steam.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So here's what I'm going to say to that. The cross-platform aspect is a benefit, but honestly, Godot will give you that, Unity will give you that, Unreal will give you that. So like that's not necessarily as much of a concern in my brain. I will say I have used the Flame game engine a lot. I really like it. And there are benefits that go above and beyond cross-platform that I think are worth looking at. Big one for me is I spend most of my day working in Dart, now more C# than I used to, but most of my time is in Dart. And so it is nice to not have to context switch between languages when I'm working on a personal project versus a work project. Another thing is that a huge part of games is developing UIs. And Flutter is at its core a really good UI framework. So you can use all the cool stuff that comes from Flutter to build out your UI while still having all the benefits of a game engine by using the Flame game engine. And all the stuff that you would expect is there. You can use like Box 2D. That's going to give you a really good physics engine that you can use. You can use Oxygen, which allows you to, kind of think differently about the way that you manage the data of your various game components. There is a ton. It supports like tile sheets. It supports sprites. It supports all the traditional 2D game engine stuff. So I think that there are a ton of benefits of using Flame, and I think it's worthwhile looking at it. And yeah, you could absolutely release it on Steam. You can put it on itch. Once you build it out, you can put it through pretty much any major app store that I can think of.
I mean, that's.
Would you say, Simon?
Put it on the web.
Yeah,
and the web.
Yep.
Although I did run into like a crazy side issue with my Flame Game Jam submission because I had to enable WASM. Works fine on Mac OS, works fine on Linux. In Windows, I don't know what's going on with the garbage collection. Does not starts choking very early on. So, but you can put it on web. And the only reason I'm running into issues on Windows is because I have like 600 objects with individually tracked physics on screen at any given moment. And so that's causing me some problems. 99% of people's games will work fine.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's kind of where my thinking was going, is pretty much exactly what Matthew said. My initial take on this was, if you know Flutter, then it's a no-brainer. Go ahead and do it with Flame and then Rive if you want to really fancy up the animations and stuff. If you want to learn Flutter, creating a Flame game is not necessarily the best way to learn Flutter, just because so many things it does are a little bit different. But that said, you're still using Dart. You're still getting used to that stuff. So if you want to learn Flutter, I would say I would recommend, yes, do that. So in those two cases, I would definitely say yes. If all you want to do is make a game and you don't know Flutter and you wouldn't do anything else with Flutter otherwise, I think I would probably go use one of the other ones that Matthew mentioned.
So
Godot. If you're not going to use Flutter and Flame, go look at Godot.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's again, if you want, Flutter is a great skill to have, and the cross-platform is a great reason for that. So if you're at all interested in Flutter, then I would say absolutely, why not do it this way? I think it can handle it. I think it's a great thing to do.
So here's what I will say. Go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, somebody brought up in the chat that Philip was releasing, and I was just going to say it's actually he's got some video and stuff already out on Steam. But yeah, he's building.
Yeah,
so this is game
on
the giant robot game.
Yeah,
the 3D wireframe game.
Yeah.
The interesting point is with Steam is that it will take any game, but anything. It's not about what you build it in, right?
Yeah.
It's about if you integrate with the Steam libraries, right? So people can do chat within your game and things like that. There is a package on Pub apparently called Flame Steamworks. Currently works on Windows, but there's but Steamworks itself is something that you should be able to. It's just a wrap. You can do your own FFI stuff if you want to wrap around the APIs, which I'm sure that is what Philip's probably doing.
So here's what I will say. All right. the biggest game ever built on the Godot engine just went into early access. It's called Slay the Spire 2. I adore it. I was a huge fan of Slay the Spire 1. I've lost a fair amount of time on Slay the Spire 2. Looking at that game, there is zero reason why it couldn't have been built in Flame. Like, I look at it and I'm like, this is a massive, huge game that millions and millions of people are playing right now. And having worked a little bit with both engines and honestly more Flame than Godot, there is zero reason why Slay the Spire 2 couldn't have been built in Flame, right? And honestly, a lot of stuff probably would have been easier because you've got like the UI framework of Flutter to back you up. So I think Flame is a fine place to start, particularly if you already have a Flutter background.
I will also say that with the upcoming dynamic loading of Dart code, would make a big difference to games as well. So that's a big bonus. What we're seeing hopefully from the Dart and Flutter team this year. They've got in their roadmap for this year. The other thing to say is that a lot of games, it's not really necessarily about the logic. I mean, a lot of games use JavaScript and things like that to build their game logic and other scripting languages like Lua. It's normally about the graphics and the sound and all the other assets and everything that comes with it. So the programming of a game is just one part of that puzzle. I would say if you're not already a good person with graphics and sound, go find someone that can help you with that graphics and sound.
I have a recommendation that actually comes from someone in chat. Elijah just dropped it in chat. He's the one that recommended this to me, and I'm going to throw it out to everyone. Retrodiffusion.ai. It is an AI that specializes in making pixel art. And what makes it different than something like Nana Banana is that rather than just like trying to like build pixels because then you've got like consistency issues or whatever, it actually like fills in the grid to make your pixel art. And the results are surprisingly impressive. Now, granted, I put in a picture of myself and it came out with a not very flattering result. But if you are interested in a retrodiffusion.ai is the name of it. And it can create some really impressive pixel art. Now, it is a paid service. You get 50 cents free when you sign up. And each image is going to cost somewhere between like 6 to 8 cents to generate. But I've been playing around with it and I'm really impressed. Like I've been using Sprite for like pixel art generation, but I'm not super artistically inclined. And Retro Diffusion is really, really cool. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. I know AI art is a whole thing. We're not getting into that, but it's cool. And I think you should look at it.
And I guess one more follow-up I would like to make is if you are wanting to learn more about things, having something that you're passionate about makes that just so much easier. It makes it so much more, you have more incentive to get past the hard parts. You have more, a late night becomes a lot easier if you're really into what you're doing versus it being a chore and you're looking for any way out. So I do think that, for example, creating a game is an incredible use case for learning and improving your Flutter.
I'm going to say another one is to always have a target, I'd say. Otherwise, you start wandering around and not really accomplishing anything. One of the things that's probably recommended as a learning aid for building games or stuff like that, even mobile apps, to be honest, is clone something that already exists.
Yeah.
You already know, here's my target, right? Here's a game. This is chess. How do I make chess? You can go read up about how chess works and build your own chess game or whatever, right? Like pick your game that you play all the time and say, okay, how do I do these things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my talks at FlutterCon last year, FlutterCon US last year, was on porting my favorite game from college. But that's one of the reasons why I think those kinds of things are a great idea and important. It's just because you don't have to figure out everything.
I've done a couple of ports with games to Dart and Flutter. And it's always been really helpful to have that idea of this is what the end product should be, so that you've got a target, right? When you're making a game from scratch, there's so there's so many options, there's so many things you can do that you end up having to like rein in yourself to try lots of different. Like if you start trying to do too many things, you end up in a situation where you're not moving forward.
Yeah. Well,
so
like you were saying, I think if you're trying to replicate something that already exists, you have something that you're trying to do versus trying to figure out what you want to do and then how to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're building, Tetris, it's pretty easy, right? You know what you got to do. You got to be able to build blocks. You got to have a board. You got to be able to fill the board and move the blocks around. Whereas if you're just like, well, I'm going to build a game. Well, first you got to come up with an idea, right? Yeah. And then that idea is going to change as you're building it, like you're saying, right? Yeah. You're going to come up with other ideas that you want to put in the game, and it just kind of goes on and on and on. It's kind of like this scope creep issue, right? You're not only you're getting scope creep on your game, but you're also trying to learn how to program games.
So many, like what you call indie games that have just been like in production for like 6-10 years
forever because they keep adding new stuff. They And I think if you're trying to learn, honestly, that's not a good way.
One thing that really works for me whenever I'm trying to build something, and you're gonna laugh because I'm like 3 months without a YouTube video at this point, and like I'm trying to build this YouTube channel, right? Deadlines really help me, and so like if you think you can handle it, consider joining a game jam. Like the yearly Flame game jam just wrapped. I participated. It wasn't the greatest output. Don't look it up. But at the same time, like having that deadline forced me to make decisions. Like at one point I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, like this feature I want to do isn't working or is crashing the game. I can either cut it or I can try to fix it and then not make the deadline, right? And so like that deadline is like a forcing function that forces you to like make decisions and get something out the door and to actually build something and to actually like, jump in and learn. And I even though the Flame one is over, there are tons of game jams going on all the time. I think Itch has like a whole page of just like ongoing game jams that you can look at and join that have like different requirements and stuff. Pick one, join it, have fun with it. And create might be worse than what I put out. But you'll at least have the experience and you'll be a better developer afterwards.
Having to work to a deadline is a really great way to focus your concentration and your creativity, because deadlines don't forgive. I mean, it's like if you've got to make it by Friday, you go, well, what can I do by Friday then? Just these 3 things. Fine, do those 3 things.
Well, and again, if we're extracting this into normal programming and stuff like that, if we take John's suggestion as Tetris, that's a great example. Because especially if you're doing something on the side, you need to think like a project manager kind of person. So your goal is not to write Tetris. Your goal is to be able to create all the blocks, the different shaped blocks. Your goal is to be able to move the block left and right, or to make it fall, or to make them stack, to detect the row that worked. You need to when you're doing anything like this, you need to have achievable goals and not just sit back and try to, you don't want the first time you run the game trying to actually be playing a game of Tetris, which is a great example just because it is simple enough of an idea. So, yeah.
There's our live coding idea. We'll make Simon code Tetris.
Yeah, I mean,
Tetris
games. It's the simple ones, right? It's Tetris, it's Space Invaders, or something where it's a very simple. There's minimal rules and things to follow, and it's if you're just trying to learn game programming, you want to start with something like that. That's easy to understand and not super complex in
something I've not tried yet. But you could also just ask AI to create you a learning guide to building something.
Yeah.
Right? Like make one of the powers of AI is it can customize something to you. You give it, I've done 1 year of Flutter. I've done 3 years of JavaScript. I've done this, I've done that. I want to make this game in Flutter. So you give it your experience, and it's going to give you a guide and a path to knowing, based on your skill levels, what you can do and how you go about doing it and what you need to learn to do those things. Very powerful stuff.
Yep. All right, my hour's up, everybody. I'm going to have to run.
Bye, Danielle.
And I should see you next week.
See you in a week.
Next week.
See you later.
Then yeah.
Yeah, to your point, Simon, I learned .NET that way. I hopped into Claude and I was like, I have a really good handle on Dart and the Flutter framework and how they do things. And the great thing about that is like it was so customized because it was like, all right, so here's what you're already familiar with. Here's how it works in the C#.NET world. And it helped me get up to speed pretty quickly, which was very cool.
I've been doing a lot of learning using Gemini in the last 6 months to a year because it's been real easy to go in and say, like a particular example that comes to mind immediately is that I'm trying to get master DaVinci Resolve, but I'm already really familiar with earlier packages like iMovie and Adobe Premiere Pro, that sort of stuff. And so I said, I know those things. Tell me how this is different. And it's great because I can create a specific custom tutorial for someone who's just trying to gain knowledge along a particular axis instead of, I want to know everything about everything. And please explain what a timeline is. I know what a timeline is. I don't need that sort of stuff.
So fun fact, Randall, like I have a custom instruction in Gemini because I use Gemini and Claude both frequently for different things. So I've got a custom instruction in Gemini that is like, whenever I ask a coding question, please, if it's not a Flutter or Dart question, please relate it to a concept in Flutter and Dart because that's going to help me understand it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what Gemini has done is every question, coding or not, it now tries to give me like a Dart example. So like I bought a CNC machine and I had a question about V-carve. So I asked Gemini and it was like making this long stretch. It's like, so if you were a Dart, you would do this. And that's how you would click here in V-carve to like import this sketch. And I'm like, no, that was not the intent. It's like it makes this like big log leap to like stuff that isn't even like relevant, you know.
If all you have is Dart, everything looks like a Dart app. Yes.
Yes. If all you have is Dart, everything looks like a dash. That's what.
Yep. Exactly.
And if it's an AI, it's an M dash. Oh, that was a terrible.
Oh, typography jokes. Oh, yes. Old typography man wanders into the scene. I remember when N dashes were longer than M dashes.
The terrible thing is that I actually like using M dashes in like regular typing and talking to people. And now if I use it, people are automatically like, that was an AI. He just copy pasted an AI response to me. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
the M dash is forever ruined.
Yes, right. The M dash is very handy. It's actually useful. But the proper thing is that I think the AIs get it wrong because they put spaces around it, which is not the proper way to use it. You're supposed to be non-space on both sides. I know this because in my early career, I was a writer full-time. So I got taught how to write on the job, which was great. This is bordering into the AI show territory, so probably should dial it back and get it back on Dart and Flutter. We don't have any questions again, though. So should we start maybe live coding for the?
That's what I'm set up for. So.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Simon. Good. Thanks for anticipating the next step.
He's already ahead of us. Yeah.
Well, while Simon's getting that up, I've got one more would you rather question for you guys. So,
okay. All right. Here we go.
Would you rather have a pub get that takes 10 minutes every time you add a package, or a hot reload that works perfectly but plays It's a Small World loud and unmutable every time it finishes?
No.
Ooh.
No, not that song. Not that song. You can always tell who's been to Disneyland ever. If you just mention that song and they have the reaction you just saw, they have been near the Small World ride. Because you hear the whole same song for an hour in line, then inside in 15 friggin' languages, And then you still can't get out fast enough. You can't run away fast enough to not hear the song on the way out. So no, that's the litmus test for have you ever been to Disneyland? Yes. You just figured it. No, so no. Whatever the other one was, yeah.
A 10-minute long pub get.
I'll do that and play games.
Yeah, last time. Okay, I've got a great idea, right? FlutterCon USA is in Orlando, right? So we should make all the Flutter people like get lighted, right? It's a small world through.
I'm definitely not then.
Let me go get my shotgun. I need to shoot someone.
Oh, Simon, you live in the UK. You don't own a shotgun.
In fact, they're more legal here than they are in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Some comedians said they should let
completely illegal here. You understand that, right? They're just licensed. There's a difference.
Yeah,
I just go to the shop and buy one.
Some comedians said they should,
our thing demonetized completely.
They should let you take.
I have so many jokes that I'm now curtailing back because I don't want this to get demonetized.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. We should set up.
Yeah.
Randall, you gotta come to FlutterCon, man. Like well,
I was at last year, so it's real likely. I just need to come up with an idea, and I need to get funding. So we'll see if we can work both out. But because that's diagonally across the country for me. It's
that's all the way on the other side. Yeah.
Further away. I mean, New York was okay because it's like the same latitude pretty much, but going all the way down the diagonal is expensive. Yes. We'll see. Anyway, we have no questions. We're just waiting for Simon to take this show.
What do you want to do? So I mean, I've got the WoW shopping app. We could like go pick up
Tetris.
again, or we
do Tetris.
Sorry? Tetris.
Tetris. Yes.
Give Tetris a go.
Tetris with just single dots, just a dot to land. You got to make rows with dots. Just single dots. That would be like the most primitive Tetris ever. But you could probably do that in the remaining hour. You could probably make a single dot Tetris.
Or we could use retro diffusion to generate the tetraminos, different shaped blocks.
Yeah.
We're going to use some AI. Let's use some AI.
Oh, no, it's working. Weird.
I could use physics editor to generate the collision lines for you.
Yeah.
Send them over.
Let's see, or what else? Or we could do something about state management because that was brought up earlier. We could do something about. Wasn't much else brought up.
We could create the projectinator, and like we would hit a button, and it would give like 3 random words, and we have to build live code something that is based off of those 3 random words like every week. That would be. Yeah.
That'd be weird. Yes, like spinning wheels.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Management. Survey.
GetX.
No.
Big klaxon would sound. Red flashing light. Yes, the whole bit.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get on with things before the world.
We have
the
this
world ends.
question. Did you implement the lazy layout in Jasper? Did we finish that?
What were we doing there? When was that?
The lazy layout. Was that like 4 weeks ago?
Maybe.
I'll be right back in like 2 minutes, guys.
Yeah, we need some AI to go through and review.
I don't even remember.
We did some Jasper, but I don't remember. Was it a lazy layout?
Yeah.
In Jasper?
I feel like there was it was about like making a list, wasn't it? And like a recycling list view so that it would.
Simon ran away from that project.
I'm happy to start it up again. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, that was a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Oh, Jasper demo. Hang a minute. Yeah, no, I've got that. We can carry on with that.
Ooh,
I mind. People want that.
Not getting a lot of other feedback from the.
No, we solved that. It was about when you scroll up and down, wasn't it?
That's.
Yeah, we got that loading more messages.
Yeah, that was done.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any ideas? Quick ideas? Slow ideas?
It was this one, right? Chat message list. When you had a home screen,
Mm-hmm.
and when you load into the list, it would, as you scroll, load more items.
Yeah.
And we tested it, and it worked, and it was in reverse, right? So that and it would keep the scroll position.
Right. Yeah. The usual trick you do with scrolling.
Yeah, we did. What was it down here somewhere? Liner. That's kind of annoying. Where's the fix? I mean, surely there's a fix for that. I'll do this. Wait, what? What's wrong with that? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, because this went the alignment to the end and to the start, and then no, wait, that's the left and right. Column reverse. Yeah, that was the trick. No, we had this working. I mean, I can run it, right? I should be able to run it. Oh, it was Jasper. What? Oh, Tesla.
I just came back on my way back to my computer, and Mrs. Anator handed me a stack of Thin Mints. So this is your PSA that it's Girl Scout
It's Thin Mint time.
Yes.
How's
They
it
don't have thick. They don't have thick mints, but that's what it eventually makes you.
There's a beer
Eventually.
called Thick Mint, Randall, that you should try. It tastes exactly like a Girl Scout Thin Mint. Like, it's a dessert beer. You don't want to drink more than one, but it is delicious.
Interesting. Interesting, because that is a good flavor. I definitely have all the flavors I've tasted. That's one of the better ones. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not the beer, but the Thin Mint. Yes. I remember.
So
by the end of the beer, you're done, Randall. Trust me. But it's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's high in alcohol content.
Being a Portlander, I've had very.
Can we get back on topic?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're running app.
Go, Simon.
Yeah. Now, as you can see here, look, as we scroll up, it loads more.
Yeah.
I think actually, no, it's saying that. I think we got into it just happened. There was that bug, wasn't there? Hang on.
Oh.
Can we refresh? It loads. It's yeah.
It jumps a little.
Now, what's happening here is it's loading. There's multiple pages it's loading at once. So rather than loading one and moving the scroll position down, see, we're really fighting the web here. Don't get me wrong, there's ways of doing it. So when this goes to load more, we had to scroll up and down to load the next one. It is doing it. It's just not ideal. Because I mean, like that jumps, right? So we're expecting it to, when it loads more, yeah, the top message here was with C libraries, and it scrolls and it loaded another page, but that with C libraries is down here, right? So it should have it's because the scroll position is down from the top, I would guess. So I know there's there's obvious ways to actually solve this, and that is we just don't we lay things out ourselves. which is not where I want to go with this right now. Should we see what AI can do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And continue
Please
where we were.
rewrite this in Fortran. You just don't see enough good COBOL these days.
Oh, agreed.
Right. What should we say? Let's bring that behind.
Yeah.
Let's go with.
Why don't you do this in Pascal?
Yeah.
In college, I actually tried to write Tetris in COBOL.
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, if people aren't interested in this, then we'll do.
I am interested in this, Simon. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the problem here, right? Let's just kind of work through this, right? The problem here is the point at which we say load more is this on scroll event, right? This then goes off, and effectively this is our cheap sort of load more, right? We want to display more, and then when it goes to display it, it displays more, right? Rather than limiting itself. Pick and choose you want. That's not really the concern here, right? In that how many we have visible to us. So this sets the state, and visible messages then gets the number based on the display count. The order is reversed. So we're going into the part, but we're going to the past because we're loading from the end. So that's correct. So it seems to me like our this. I mean, you can do. See, as soon as we put more content in that list, although it's laid out from the bottom, the CSS lays things out. It's still the scroll is still measured from the top, which is the problem. Right. We could do a virtual scroll in terms of keep track of the inverse of the scroll. We know there is the target will have a scroll height. Is that the one? Look.
You want to get all the properties? I can help you with that.
Let's see if we can get some debugging in here.
So are we trying to set it up so the scroll bar doesn't change as new additional things are loaded?
Well, I mean, we just hide. There's not really a way around that because the scroll bar is proportional to the content that's in there. We can do it by knowing how. I mean, the way you deal with this, if you can do this yourself inside the app, is that the scroll bar is not proportional to the pixels. The scroll bar is proportional to the number of items, right? You know that the total count of items you can scroll back to, therefore you can proportionally size the scroll bar, right?
Right.
So therefore the scroll bar doesn't change its height, like the size of it. But to be honest, you wouldn't just have a scroll bar. That's the answer to that, right? Because you're not going over. If you're not going over finite set content, then the scroll bar makes no sense. This literally tells you I can scroll back this much, right? Like it's a visual indication of what you're scrolling through. If you're loading more, and you don't know the size of it until you get to the end, then those are data sets that you're not going to have a scroll bar for, right?
Right.
Sorry, just kind of blurting that out there for everyone, right?
I think I was in the restroom when we decided what we were doing, so I'm trying to catch up. That's all.
Yeah, no, sorry. So scroll height, client height, yeah. So one would assume that our client height is this area. Go look. 436, yeah. Yeah, no, 468. Yeah, we're padding probably. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Where am I? Yeah, 16 on both sides. Sounds about right. 32, yeah, 468, yeah. So client height. Sorry, I know it's a bit small for everyone. So we've asked it to output essentially where we are on the scroll bottom, with that sound negative scroll top at the moment because it's in reverse. So when I scroll up, I see that's interesting. Look, so this has got me 200. So this is just must be just the way it does it, because I'm doing the negative thinking that gives me the number I was looking for, but effectively I'm scrolling negative 200 because it's wrapped around, I guess. I don't know. But scroll height is the height of our content, right? So if we wanted, we could track the inverse scroll maybe, right? So I'm trying to think of a way that if we add more content, how can we keep the same scroll position? Because at the moment, that's what's jumping, right? Let's refresh and see. So I scroll, boom, yeah. So look, our scroll bottom went from 768 to 193 to 1093. That height there is the issue, and our scroll height also changed because of the extra content. You stick it in AI and see what it says. I'm being lazy.
Sure.
I have when my message list is scrolled, I load more content, but visually on the web page, the scroll jumps and doesn't stay at the message I was viewing.
Yeah.
How can
Can
you help? Oops. Can you help me? I think there's
yeah.
I mean, so the way I'm thinking about this, the two ways we can tackle this, right? One is, instead of using scroll top as our scroll position, when we get delta events of scroll, we adjust our own scroll position, and each time it's refreshed or redrawn, maybe we can force it into our scroll position, so we maintain the scroll and taking over the scroll. The other one is to just not have like scrolling at all. So another way you can deal with this is to essentially absolutely position the elements, and therefore you're not taking advantage of any of the browser scroll facility. You're doing your own scroll, and you're taking over the entire scroll mechanism, and therefore, yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can have them bounce up and down, move around, do whatever you want, right? But again, suddenly that's like an extra set of effort. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that this would be this difficult, to be honest. So, and it is kind of these are those kind of like fun.
My concern about the first approach is that we're going to get like the jitters. Like we'll add stuff and then it'll.
Well, that's my point. If we, it's only if we can sync it, right? If we can do it based on. The other thing is, like, you can position one piece of content inside another. So the content plane of the scroll, maybe that's the option. Maybe the option there is, yeah. Okay, let me think about this. Also, clean. Okay, let's. Oh, don't clean my print statement. I didn't ask you to clean my print statement. I wanted to. Right, let's see what it says. Here's the issue. The containers flex direction column reverse, so scroll 2 is at 0 at the bottom and goes negative upwards. When SetState adds more DOM elements, scroll height increases, but the scroll top stays with the same value, causing the visual content to shift. Yes. Fix. Capture the scroll height before re-render, and then adjust scroll top after DOM updates using a microtask. Yeah, exactly what I was saying, right?
So it's taken for approach 1.
Let's remove the debug print statements while I'm at it. It's fun as stay. Root cause the flex on yeah. Fix before. I do wonder if it's going to get into an interesting, as you said, like state. Let's I just reloaded it. So let's just do a refresh here and see first of all, let's see its behavior. Let's scroll up. Yeah, didn't change a thing. Let's
Useless.
try again. It could be just see. Hang on. Is that loading more? 30 is the total, right? Where did I have that in here? Oh, that's outside of this list. Yeah, so that'll be the top number of messages. Old scroll height. That's not going to work, is it? Oh, I get. Well, I think okay. You see what he's doing. He's saying like, okay, take the scroll height and scroll top, change the set, do set state and adjust count. Then the hope is that once it's rendered after the display count has changed, which would adjust the visible messages, then we will have a new scroll height. I mean, let's do some. Let's do old. Right. So
Raf put in the chat, it will not work because you didn't add you are staff engineering. Every bug is a mistake. You make a mistake, you go to jail in front of the prompt.
Wow.
So look, if we go up, we've got, was it C? Yeah, see, it's jumping still. I don't think this is happening after DOM updates. I mean, it must because we're getting a different number. But we should, and we're using old to adjust it. That's interesting. Okay, let's turn it. Say it still jumps. I have added debug print statements that I want to keep so I can do what's happening in the console log. It's still understood. I'll restore the debug. No, don't restore. Whatever. It still logs. It still jumps.
You do not know what you are doing.
I think
I know
if this
better
is
than
IntelliJ,
you.
I think that you can like go back to the previous message, roll back whatever change it made, and then
yeah.
He's done that before. He knows.
Many times.
Yes.
IntelliJ is my only option at work. I miss Cursor so much.
I was going to use request frame anyway instead of microtask. All right. I don't think that's the problem, mate. But try it instead. If it works, when in Rome, as they say. This is Mark's client. Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. I think we're doing static server-side rendering with this, aren't we, or something? So quite that. I think not client. Let's do this. Let's restart Jasper. Ooh. Wait, what?
A lot of red there.
I was pretty sure we could use that, but let's so basically what's happening right now is we're trying to use JS interop package and it's trying to compile that code not on the web. This is Jasper. We're trying to do the server-side component. So we need to use universal web, which I thought, pardon me. This is like the yeah, there is. Basically means that the 2JS when it's called in server mode, it basically does nothing. It's a no operation, right? And then inside of when it's running inside the web app, it's using the browser function. And apparently, where's 2JS trying to use it on? Animation frame 2JS. Dynamic could be the problem. What does request frame need? Oh, thank you. That's so helpful. I don't know. Let's go find out.
Before you continue.
Okay, callback. This callback function is past a single argument timestamp. So DOM high res timestamp indicate the end of time. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Is that a thing? It is a thing. Will it compile it now? Let's find out. Sorry, it's a bit off the screen. Yes, it did. Wonderful. Right. Refresh. Okay, that might be because it's cached the old one, I guess. That's interesting. I think maybe this changed from us doing. Let's try this again. Let's go back to static for a second. This might just be that I have not got the index.html file. So let's try to look for things that don't exist. And I'm not looking up. This should still work now. We've got the universal web package in the other way. Come on. Build. Wait, what are you waiting for? Run. Thank you. Right.
Build, man. Build.
Okay, let's see what happens. Scroll. I'm going to scroll. Oh. Because ideally what would happen is it's when you get to the top, if you make loads more, our scroll position should still remain on the message that was at the top in case this was this one here. Right? There's two libraries in it. I mean, the scroll is negative, right? It should be. Let's comment that back again.
Raph is saying you mostly like when you do a Jasper clean.
Sorry, what's what? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. But I am actually missing the index HTML file, which I don't think is generated. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. I can't remember.
Just ask Augment for an index HTML file then.
Oh, it's working. It's fine.
Okay.
But why is it not doing what we want it to do? Is the question.
It's a bug.
Now this is still using the it is using request animation frame, right? We're getting the new value being printed, so this is definitely working, and our new scroll top position is being specified. It's working out the delta and the difference of the height, and therefore what it should add or remove based on that. What I'm trying to work out in my head here is
so we have it reversed, right?
That's why I'm trying to work out. Maybe these are reversed. Maybe this is.
Well, that's what I was just like. Is it actually setting the top but from the bottom? So when we add, it's going in the wrong place.
Hang on a minute. Just refresh. I think it's refreshed. Scroll. That's interesting because that jump was actually in the right direction. All right, let's see. Hang on. So I scroll up and we're looking for that. It's next. Let's just do this to here. It's this line here with C libraries, right? If I scroll up, you see that I'm not at the top anymore, which was the problem. But now I'm still at the wrong position. That was,
but not by much.
But not by much. Yeah,
it was only like a couple of messages off.
The methodology is sound. The mechanism being wrong. Old scroll top. I feel like we should just be doing negative the delta on and not worrying about the old scroll top. And there's only a few different ways this can go. Scroll. Nope.
No.
No. I'm just throwing crap at the wall here. See what sticks. But why not? Okay, that's definitely wrong. I think we tried all combinations after this, so that's not going to work. Hang on a minute. Wait. Scroll. No. I mean, we maybe this is a case that we're from the bottom, so we need to take into account the scroll height. Sorry, the client height. The client height doesn't change. So let's just throw that in the mix and then see what happens. And then this could go back to being a micro task. And then we can tell the AI what we've done and see if it goes, oh, yeah, I knew that's the way you should do it.
You're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. That's the correct way of doing it. Yeah. Scroll. It loaded more. I'm just like, I can look at the numbers and probably work it out. I'm just being lazy. Come on. Why you know a little more? It's down at the bottom here. It's like
Do we need to? Oh, you did. You added the client height back in.
It's just really strange. I seem to end up in the same position, you know. The client height should have changed. Let's get some numbers.
Can you add a tap to the item that prints out where it's at?
Hang on.
And we can see what the difference is between where it is before we scroll.
Oh, I see you're saying a particular message of where it is.
Yeah, so that way you can scroll it to just before it loads, tap the message to see, and then see where it actually appears afterward, you know, how much off it is.
Well, that is, wait, what?
So what's it?
Well, that's interesting. Let's hang on.
You look at all this code, you gotta think there's got to be a simpler way. I mean, you aren't asking that much of the world and the universe. You're just asking for it to keep its position when you add things.
I know, right? This was us.
It would seem to be just save something and then restore it close an offset or something.
Oh, that was the top. Okay, minus 714.
Okay. Let's add that tapping idea just to see where, like, I'm not sure we can get there. Was it the client? Is it the client top? Yeah.
So the
yeah, client top. Yeah, I mean, we can look at the client top. So we can look at the top scroll position of where a certain message is within its parent, I believe. Let's see. We'll do it on the message. It's an event. Yeah.
So let me ask a question. Is it possible? Because initially it was working, but as you said, John, not by much. It was not off by much. Like it was working, but it was just slightly off. Is it possible that somehow the scroll recalculation was happening before all the content was loaded into the screen, and as a result, the scroll values were wrong because like only part of the content had been loaded in? Because it's weird to me that it partially worked but did not fully work, right? So
just our numbers are off.
Right. And why would the numbers be off? The numbers, if all the content hadn't fully loaded, then some of the numbers would be off, right? So the math is right. It's just getting wrong numbers to calculate the scroll position.
All right. Wait, oh, there you go. Oh, okay.
I think Randall's right. Are we making this too complex? Because wouldn't we just want to put it back at what was the overall height of the scroll?
No, because it hasn't changed. The scroll top doesn't get changed. The scroll top stays consistent. Right?
No, but you're saying, so the scroll height before you get new, right, is where you want to be.
Scroll height,
when you add.
The scroll height is how much the height of the content you can scroll over is.
Correct.
So
but if
you're more
scrolling,
content, so it's going to be higher. You can't change it back.
No. But I'm saying, okay, so let's say the scroll height is 50, right? And every time you load more, it goes up by 50, right? So when you load more, you're going to be 50 from the bottom, right? In this case, because we're going from the bottom up.
Well, no, apparently because.
And then when you load the next 50, you'll be 100 because you're scrolling. So can't we just set
apparently
the?
That's not how it works. Although I just realized something. Okay. So we've got the content scrolling from. Let's put this back into normal column for a second here, not column reverse. Okay, so this is top down, right? So if I clear this, oh yeah. We were again. Right, scroll down, and there we go. So let's just do that again. Let's refresh, clear it, and let's not set anything. Actually, let's just reset everything. Right. So, all right. So this is loaded fresh. So I scroll down, and we're going to have C libraries. Scroll a bit more, and you see it stays the same place.
Right.
That's how it should behave. That's what we want, right? You scroll down and it loads more. The point here is this is perfectly working now, right? The problem here is how do you get to work in reverse, right?
Right.
Okay. So what is actually changing here, right? So let's take a look at this, right? So before we should get old scroll. Let's have a look. There you go. So we get old scroll and old scroll top, right? 642 was where the top scroll position is, right? That's the top of the scroll viewport. So basically the position in the scroll, right? Scroll height is the content that was scrolling over, how high all the content is. So now what's happening now is after the UI has been rebuilt, the scroll height has doubled, right? The content has doubled in size.
Right.
Scroll the client height, that is the height of the viewport, that stays the same, fine. And our new scroll top is exactly the same because we haven't moved anything, right? And then the delta, the difference in the two heights is negative this much, right? Because of the way around we've got it, right? So let's flip that round for a second to make sure that's right. Right, and we'll just refresh that, make sure we're good. Of course we're not. Refresh. Oh, it did load. Whatever. There we go. So 1,247 pixels different between the old scroll height and the new scroll height, right?
Sure.
Now, as you can see, it's all working fine. When we're in reverse, however, when we use flex in reverse, and that is we want it to lay out the widgets the opposite way round. Now, if we've got two options here, right? If we can either lay out the widget, like as we output the widgets, we output them. Actually, we're outputting in reverse at the moment, but I think it's because we're loading from the bottom, right? We're loading from. Depends on which way around the data is sorted. I'm not going to go there, but we could reverse the order of these, right? In which case, this would all load. But again, more content is then going to be loaded. In what direction we'd have to change the content height. So one thing, I mean, obviously, one thing we could do right now is, let's just reverse this for a second, right? This will make things jump, right? So we'll also, we're going later in dates. Yeah, so C libraries is the wrong way around, right? But let's just see. If I go down now, of course, when I want it to, it doesn't. Oh no, we should load more. There we go. It's not what I want. We need to load the content in reverse. So we're going, back in time as we go up, right? This is going back in time as we go down the page, right? And it will load more of the previous conversation as we go down. 19, 18,
So if you do column reverse, scroll top is negative, just in case you didn't know that.
Let's try it and verify that we're all in the right. Right, so we're gonna scroll up now. And my trigger is on the wrong side of that equation now. Hang on. Scroll bottom. I mean, this is maybe that's. We'll come back to that second. Right. Oops. Clear. Scroll up. Right. So our scroll top now is negative 624. So the scroll top hasn't changed in this case, right? But our delta of how much new content we've got is this. The problem here is if I now let's scroll up again, like my scroll.
But what I'm saying is, why wouldn't you set this new scroll top to be equal to the old scroll height? Because that would be where you were when you
that won't
loaded
be exactly it. You can be a few pixels off, right? The trigger is just happening, right? Like,
okay.
I mean, the scroll is a free flowing value, right?
I actually need to hop off, guys. I've got a 2:00 meeting that I have to get ready for.
No worries.
So thanks for having me on, guys. I will talk to you
remember,
later.
we'll talk about you every week, even if you're not here.
I don't know. I think after this, Simon's kicking me off, and I'm never going to be on the show. So, all right, bye, guys.
Later.
Yep.
Let's try sync here.
I guess. I mean, the only other way to do it, right, would be to get. You could save the top of the uppermost, in this case, message,
right? Hang on.
And then
so
scroll to that location.
This top is here. I scroll up a bit. This top is 100. Scroll up a bit more. Negative 200 and so on, right?
Right.
So we're going higher in negative numbers the more we scroll, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it automatically. I have not adjusted scroll top. You see that?
Yeah.
But it has automatically adjusted scroll top. So from old scroll top of 624 to new scroll top of 1914 right there. So
yeah, so about 1300-ish, just under.
Oops, something there, I don't know. 1914 minus 624, 1290, which is interesting because obviously our delta is 1247, but that's not 1290. Old scroll height is 1290, 1291. So let's say we take old scroll height. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, that's what I was saying. If we take the old height and we're setting it to that, that should put us at the top of.
Oh wait, what? Something's wrong with my numbers. I don't know. No, I was going to say it's if we just say negate, take the current scroll as top and just negate the old scroll height off of it afterwards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying before. Like the top of the original scroll height has got to be where we want to be, because that, I mean, would have been the last item. I think, we're overcomplicating
I mean, yeah,
it.
if
I
it
think.
works, and so it's a jump still.
Well, the top is still 0 there, right?
No, ignore the top. I'm looking at
okay.
this top. Sorry. Where is it here? 6. I mean, it should still be at the original. Oh, that's a good point. Why don't we just restore it? Like, hang on.
This is where we discover we were doing it the hard way.
Yeah, that's that's exactly what I was saying before. Is take wherever we were, the old scroll top before should be the new where we're at, because that's where it's going to.
The old scroll top. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. Is a scroll top like a muffin top?
But
not this.
Not the
scroll
top. Don't you want the height? The height, not the top.
No. One person. Look. Hang on. Let me just show you what I'm thinking about here, right? So, let's get to this. Hang on. I'm triggered too early. Right. And right. So this this one here, right?
Right.
So we're at 611, negative 611 right now. And we know when it gets to negative 624, that's when it gets triggered, right? So I go up.
Right.
Old scroll top, 665 in this case, right?
Right.
So if I set the new, as we saw, if I tap on one of these, the new scroll top is actually 1861, even though I set it to 665. Do you see the problem here? Like I'm sending it back to what it was after the fact, right? That's me doing that. Where is it? Down here. We set target scroll top to equal old scroll top. But therefore, forcing the scroll to keep its position as what it was before.
But that's the list top.
The scroll position got changed.
Isn't that the list top? Or did you just
sorry. That's the list scroll top. It's the same. No, it's the same value.
All right.
So if I scroll back down to wherever the libraries one was and put it near the top and press, you'll see it's 661.
Yeah.
665, right? Like this should have worked. Essentially restoring the scroll top. The problem here is that this is happening before it gets changed, not after it gets changed.
Yeah.
And stupidly, like, there's obviously something happened. There's obviously some rules in the DOM that's happening here. If we were to do like something like I mean, let's try something here actually. Those going to have the first 3. What is the value of the 3 frames afterwards, right? Let's see what happens. Well, it's not 3. Right? Yeah, close enough. Same value. It's interesting that this is happening.
You just need to add an add post frame callback, right?
Huh?
the equivalent of
well, I'm actually thinking like, I'll be honest with you, I'm actually thinking doing something like this.
Just delaying
it. Just to see like this is terrible. Don't do this.
Avert your eyes. Children, avert your eyes. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, interesting enough, if we now pop this in here, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna go one. It's gonna blink and
It's
then
gonna
blink
jump
back.
twice.
Hey, look, it
But
jumped
you
back
end
again.
up in the right spot.
Look, it's what we want. It's what we want. The question here is why? Why? Right?
Well, yeah.
So there must be an event on a DOM object that can tell us that its scroll content height has changed or something, right?
Isn't it just a scroll event?
Content height changed.
Yeah, something that you can tell it to ignore or don't do it. So you can do it yourself.
We are in charge here. Do not do anything automatic.
What was that up above? It said something about
scroll behavior.
dynamic.
Are we about to say don't turn it off and it just works or something? What's revert? Go on, what you're saying?
Up above in the kind of the AI answer, there was something about dynamic updates. If you change the inner HTML style, scroll height automatically updates. Okay, yeah.
It's not giving me what I want, which is like, is there an event that can occur? I'm just trying to work out here, like, at what point I don't want scroll top to change. Let's pose it to the AI and say, I have done some. Let's get rid of all the crap. Let's get rid of this. And I'll scroll height.
Oh, well.
I've done some debugging and
this answer that I got says you could use CSS and set scroll anchoring, which tries to keep the visible content stable when DOM changes occur above the viewport.
Okay, there's a magical CSS thing for this, is there?
Yeah.
Scroll anchoring. This okay.
Yeah. So there's an overflow -anchor, and you can set that to none to prevent auto scrolling adjustments.
We're about to find out. It was as simple as CSS style.
Yeah, none will get it to not do it, is what it's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so glad I don't deal with most of this stuff in Flutter anymore.
It's right.
Much more straightforward now. I do not look forward to jaspering my primary Stonehenge com. It's going to be a while.
Well, and then the lovely second option it gives me is you can manually preserve it by storing the scroll position and add it before adding and then restore it afterwards, which is exactly what we're doing. It's not working. So
yeah.
Yeah, but the question is when's after, right? That's the point. Right. Let me get rid of Al.
Yeah, all the scrolling.
Right. Where were we? Yeah, I mean that just loaded more on jump, so either scroll anchoring is crap or crap. Overflow anchor, none.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Oops. Visible. Initial.
What's revert?
So I think revert is so you do this thing in CSS where you can toggle it in the next layer down. So you can do like put it back to what it was basically. So if it's like visible, then you change it back to the previous one. Same as inherit, right? But I don't know what the normal value is. Jumped. See what the auto is the initial value. As long as the user's browser supports scroll anchoring, the browser will the behavior will happen, and they should see fewer content jumps. Fewer, not no content jumps. Fewer. None of you explicitly opted the document or part of the document out of scroll anchoring. See, the thing is, it's only happening in the reverse. I think this is very much a particular case of how does this behave when
Yeah.
when we're scrolling in reverse, right? Auto is the same as initial. You've got inherit, which comes and pass it down the tree. But I'll put revert and revert that. I don't think it's going to do anything. Nope.
Nope.
Nice try. Let's put it back in there and then and get rid of our see what the AI makes of it. I've done some debugging and have a solution. Oh. This isn't a Jasper issue, no.
Weird values coming back as properties on things that scroll.
Give it some thinking time. I find it interesting that it's only happening in the reverse case, right?
Yeah.
There is something very specific about that, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's probably the inherent.
Yeah, good question. The flick happens because the browser ranges the shifted scroll position before the future delay corrects it. This is the two approaches: hide the scroll overflow during the update to prevent the intermediate frame from showing. Okay. Drop column reverse. Use normal column layout, which works around the scroll anchoring.
Do all the work yourself.
I think that's probably the root, right? Is that the normal way is you scroll down and it adds more, but it's adding them below. So you got to keep scrolling, right? But we're scrolling in the other direction. So it's adding them at the top, which is like the reverse lot. It's like that piece is missing. See what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, even if we put the reverse, i.e. put it back into normal column layout, lay out the things in reverse, we then need to find the bottom scroll position set to that.
Right.
And then when you go up to 0, we then have to work out what the height changes and adjust for that. This always seems like, I feel like this should just be like built in, you know, like this is
right. Well, that's what I think's missing, right? I think it is. I think it's, even though you're setting it to reverse, it's treating it like a normal list box that scrolls down. right? So you're adding at the top. And so it's actually trying to put you up there instead of leaving you where you were at, like it does when it's reversed. Because you've scrolled to the top, and it wants to keep you at the top.
Yes, make the change. There you go. That's what it does.
Right. Whereas when you scroll to the bottom, it adds items at the bottom, and the typical user experience is you scroll down for them. And so it's like it's left that, even though it's giving you the ability to say, I want to do this as a reversed, it's left that piece out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The implementation when you set it to reversed, it's doing it the way that it thinks it should, which is, oh, you're at the top, so you should scroll to the top.
I wonder if, regardless of whether we're talking about Dart and Flutter or not, if anybody has solved this in the web world. Is there existing, say, React code
It's not about
that does this correctly?
This is a web problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a web problem.
Yep.
We need a web solution. That's what we need. We need solution.www.web.
Okay, let's see what it's doing. So let's see what it's done.
Let's just push the start button again. Let's see what kind of yogurt we get this time.
So, what we got? Has more done an initial scroll done. So this is okay. Get the chat list. Scroll top equals scroll height to double, i.e., scrolling it to the bottom. On scroll, have we done the initial scroll? 2. Okay, so there's an initial scroll event that we're going to say scroll to bottom on. Okay. Scroll top, if it's greater than 50, then we're not loading, so return it early. Otherwise, we load more. And then when we first start, we say scroll to bottom. Let's just say sure, right? And see what happens here, shall we? Apparently it's loaded. Let's refresh. So that was interesting. There's already a flicker at the top in the first. It's in Dart. Undeployed platform document. Wait, what? Scroll to bottom.
This gives programming with Flash a whole new 21st century meaning.
You know, just like put the whole thing on client. Hang on.
It's not Flash of unstyled content. It's Flash of stupid content. Content that we want, but just don't flash.
Yes.
Can you use like the animated scroll to kind of keep it on the screen while it's setting the scroll position?
Yeah. This one feel this.
Are we not in reverse again?
Let me get rid of that.
Is it making the backup beep? Beep, 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 beep. Yes, we're in reverse.
It's not setting the initial scroll to the bottom at the moment.
Mm.
What do I have? 2 debug panels. I don't know. Close. What is going on?
Double debugging. You can get them to argue. It's like Waldorf and Stahler. You're going to get both comments from both of them.
Yeah, well. It's me. Right. Refresh. Okay. We scroll to the bottom. I had to scroll, by the way, for it to do that at the moment. But if I scroll up, and it does the same problem. Like it ends up not adjusting the scroll. Now we effectively want to adjust the scroll top The problem here is what's happening now is the scroll top is not getting adjusted. So after it loads more, scroll top's going to be near 50, and so it loads the next page and the next page. It loads 5 pages immediately.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't scroll top negative?
Not anymore because we're now doing a normal column.
Oh, okay. I missed that step.
But maybe that's the problem now. We've got the auto adjusting. We want to turn off the auto adjusting anchor, right? Or is it? Hang on. What was it? We're not making any changes anymore, right? So the content height has changed. So I scroll up. Look, you can see the scroll bar changes, right?
Yeah.
But the scroll isn't the content is not kept in the same position. If I put on no, it was scroll anchor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What does that do? So clear it, scroll up. Nope. I think we're just in the same space now, right?
Yeah.
We now got so 2 different problems, right? One problem is the initial scroll needs to scroll to the bottom, which might get a flicker anyway. Then the second one is when you scroll up, we now need to still wait for a frame to adjust the scroll to the new position based on the scroll heights this time, right? Yeah, because we need to say target scroll, basically adjust it ourselves, right? And it's what we were saying before. It's the delta in the scroll heights, right?
I like how they're calculating sub-pixel floating point numbers all the way through. It's not just pixels anymore. It's floating point.
I mean, at the moment, there's no reason why this might not even flicker itself. There you go. Perfect. Load more. Oh, that one jumped. Did it not? Hang on. Let's just try the first one. I scroll up. Yep, it didn't. So the scroll bar changed, and I didn't lose my scroll position.
Yep.
Interesting enough, the second one does make a difference. That's interesting. I mean, it still was roughly the same place, but it definitely did not smoothly do it like the original one. So like, if I scroll up here, literally,
the
scroll bar changed. I kept the exact position on the screen. Perfect, exactly what I wanted, right? Scroll top. Yeah, we're adjusting scroll top. Yeah. Oh, so scroll top is going down. Let's see if I can get the exact point at which, because we output the delta, don't we, when it happens. There we go. So we were on scroll top of 53. We dropped to 50, which is where the trigger is.
But you know what? It looked like it flickered, but it actually didn't move. like
Oh.
the location of
Okay, well, let's
the
try this
item
again.
didn't look like it moved.
See library, scroll up slowly.
So if you
Animation
watch,
controller. Ah, yeah, you're right. It went.
it's going down and coming back up to it. So
Why?
it's maintaining, but there's that extra flicker in there for some reason.
And this is why we hate web. Has anyone told you this?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is kind of where it comes back to, like, okay, I'm doing an app. I control every pixel screen. I can do the layout however I want. You know, all this problem is like, solvable. You haven't got that work around the browser system, CSS and DOM and all the rest of it. And it's like, if I was to do this as a web app in Flutter, it's like done. You know, solved.
Yep.
Do this in the browser, and you're now limited to what the browser gives you, right?
Yeah.
Well, has
Yeah,
anyone?
I think
Use
Jasper to create a giant canvas and just paint it on the canvas.
Right.
If only you could do that.
Yeah.
Embed a Flutter list view. List view.
In fact, Jasper does that, doesn't it?
Yes.
That was really trying to get out. Yes.
You know what? I wonder if you need to. I wonder if the is it still using the delay before you set it?
No.
Oh,
Schedule microtask. I mean, I can look at, like, I don't think there's going to be any difference between schedule microtask.
Well, but my thought was, I wonder if as you load more, that slight jump gets bigger. Well, because it's taking longer to display all the items, and then it's moving before we can change it.
Where was the request animation frame? I thought it was on document. Window. Oh. And then this was a DOM timestamp. Where's timestamp? Right, let's schedule it this way. Scroll to bottom. And we're going to do the same thing on a ignoring the fact that it errors out during the static building. I think that should be. We need to say if k is where. Actually, it's not that one we care about. It's this one probably. Right, that should fix that. That's fine. That's because the connection got closed. Right. Scroll up. Yay.
Still had the little.
I mean, it's still there. There was a partial jump though, and
yeah, only the second time, not the first one.
I mean, we could. I don't have enough paginated content here in the demo to work with. Hang on, where's the mock messages? Let's ask the AI to add more to mock.
All right.
Add more to this mock message conversation. I haven't got 30. Add 20. Oh, 2 more. Add. Let's see what it's going to do. And there's a nice way of generating content. I'll be honest with you, mock content. Right. So we're now in a different place in the conversation. That loaded, lived, isolated, stayed where it was. Scroll up, load a bit more. Stays where it was. Stays where it was. Stays where it was. The last page.
It's the last page. Oh, but you know why? Because it's probably not as probably because it's not as much content.
Probably because.
So instead of moving 500, it's only moving 450, and then it's moving from there.
Yeah, but I'm working out the delta of the scroll height, which would be.
But it's like it's jumping the entire size and then jumping back up to where, which is weird. That
it's something. Do you know what? I don't care. It's working.
It's close enough. Yeah. Ship it.
So I think we're going to park it there because otherwise we're going to be here forever and a day trying to deal with web.
And I get a jump. So.
I'm drained just watching. Yeah, exactly right. In the end, it was a semicolon. Exactly. Let me just grab. I think I put a gist up before that in. Let me just see where we were. No, I did not. Okay, let me pop that up in a gist for anyone that's interested, and then we'll call it a day. I think. Talk amongst yourselves.
Then next week, the stream shifts for about 2/3 of the northern hemisphere.
Yep, the better half.
It's a minority.
Although I won't disagree with you at the current moment. Just this little subtext.
Do we lose an hour? I always do we lose an hour of sleep or do we get an hour of sleep? I don't know how it works.
Spring forward.
You lose.
You lose.
Right? You lose an hour.
You want more sleep?
Yeah. So.
Yes.
All right.
Otherwise, yes.
So 9 o'clock Google Standard Time next week, whatever that means for you.
Still be that. It's
it'll still be that for me.
1600 UTC, 1800
it's an hour later for people in this hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yes. For most people, not anybody in the US.
Yeah.
Right.
Who respect daylight savings? All right, we want to put it. Yeah.
We already did that a few weeks ago. We're ahead of you by 3 weeks on that.
Jasper, chat message list, demo, sure. What we call this chat list start, sure. I guess I better put the mock messages in there so people can experience it for themselves. Oh, messaging start. There you go. I'm sure people can have some fun with that. Anyway.
Yep.
Right.
All right.
Park that there. The link is in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat, yeah.
Also, next Tuesday, we're resuming the AI show. So watch the show next Tuesday live stream before this Tuesday.
Yeah, yes. And then we'll be back next Wednesday as well.
Yep.
Same time, same place.
166 hours now. Either way.
See everyone. Bye.
All right. Yep. See you.
Bye.
Bye.